What if I told you that giving up intimacy after 60 could silently trigger rapid aging, cripple your heart, cloud your memory, and trap you inside a fragile body you can no longer control? Not next year, not a decade from now, but far sooner than you think, and once it begins, the damage is almost impossible to reverse. I once saw a 74-year-old man who died quietly in his bedroom long before his time. It wasn't sudden. It was decades of slow decline, losing his strength, his memory, his independence, because he abandoned the very connection that could have kept him alive and thriving. I'm Dr. James, a specialist in men's health with over 30 years of experience helping seniors protect their vitality, independence, and joy of living. Most people believe slowing down sexually is normal with age. But in truth, walking away from intimacy speeds up aging, weakens the heart, clouds the mind, and silently robs you of freedom. Today, I'll reveal 7 hidden dangers that strike when you stop having sex, and how staying intimately connected could be your strongest shield against aging. By the time you discover number 7, you'll see why ignoring this could cost you more than you ever imagined. Stay with me. Before we go deeper, if you haven't already, I invite you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss another life-changing health message designed to help you stay strong, independent, and full of life after 60. And if you find this topic important, type 1 in the comments. If you'd like to see even better content for you, type 0. Your feedback truly matters. Now let's begin with the first and perhaps one of the most overlooked dangers. When you stop nurturing intimacy after 60, the emotional toll can be far greater than you imagine, leading to rising anxiety, deep loneliness, and a silent erosion of your inner peace. 1. You may feel more anxious and isolated. I have seen it more times than I care to count. Seniors who once lived with confidence and connection slowly fading into isolation, simply because they lost their intimate connection with life and with others. It starts so quietly that you might not even notice. Maybe you feel a little restless. Maybe you start withdrawing from friends. Maybe a sense of emptiness creeps into your evenings without warning. You tell yourself it's normal, that it's just part of aging. But deep inside, something vital is slipping away. When you give up intimacy, you rob your body and mind of one of their most powerful natural healers, oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Without it, anxiety finds a way to settle deep into your chest, stealing your calm and replacing it with a constant undercurrent of worry. The world starts to feel colder, more distant, and your resilience, the very force that once pulled you through tough times, weakens little by little. Over time, that mild unease can spiral into chronic anxiety, depression, and a heartbreaking sense of loneliness that no medicine can truly fix. It's not just an emotional burden. Studies show that chronic loneliness and anxiety significantly raise your risk for heart disease, cognitive decline, and even early death. Losing that intimate connection isn't harmless, it's dangerous. It quietly erodes the very foundation of your emotional and physical health, making every other part of aging feel heavier, harder, and more hopeless. And the most terrifying part? Once this downward spiral begins, it becomes harder to pull yourself out. Every day without meaningful connection pushes you deeper into a shell that feels impossible to escape. But the damage doesn't stop there. When you lose this emotional lifeline, another critical part of your body quietly begins to suffer, one that most seniors don't even realize until it's too late. Let's talk about it next. 2. Your heart health could decline. I'll never forget a patient I once worked with, a man in his late 60s, strong and full of life, until gradually, without warning, his health began to slip away. He hadn't changed his diet, he hadn't stopped walking daily, but there was one thing he had given up without thinking it mattered: his intimate connection with his partner. What followed was a slow and devastating decline of his heart health, a decline that none of us could stop. You see, sexual intimacy isn't just about pleasure, it's about keeping your heart alive, quite literally. Every act of intimacy is a gentle workout for your cardiovascular system, boosting circulation, lowering blood pressure, strengthening the arteries and flooding your body with life-sustaining oxygen. Without it, the heart gradually loses its vitality. Blood vessels stiffen, blood pressure creeps upward, fatigue sets in faster. The risk of heart disease, strokes, and even sudden cardiac events increases dramatically. What's even more dangerous is how silently it happens. There are no sirens, no flashing red lights, just a slow, creeping weakness that you might blame on getting older, when in reality you're watching the silent collapse of your most important muscle. And once your heart begins to fail you, it doesn't just take away your energy, it takes away your freedom, your independence, and in many cases, years you could have had if only you had protected this hidden engine of life. Sexual intimacy is not a luxury. For seniors, it is a form of medicine, a vital way to keep the heart young, flexible, and strong. Giving it up willingly is like turning off the power to the very source that keeps you alive. But unfortunately, your heart is only one piece of the puzzle. There's another critical system in your body that suffers quietly when intimacy disappears, one that controls how you move, how you feel, and how fast you age. Let's dive into that next. 3. You might move less and lose strength. I remember sitting across from a man named Harold, 72 years old, once a passionate golfer who proudly walked 18 holes without breaking a sweat. Over time, something changed. His energy dwindled, his steps grew slower, and the activities he once loved became exhausting chores. When we traced it back, it wasn't just aging or bad luck, it was the silent price he paid for letting intimacy slip out of his life. What most people don't realize is that physical intimacy keeps the body moving in ways that are subtle but powerful. It engages muscles, stimulates circulation, and keeps joints supple. When you stop participating in intimate touch, even casual affection, your overall physical activity drops without you even noticing. Movement becomes harder, stiffness creeps in, your muscles begin to atrophy, and your body loses the flexibility and coordination that once came naturally. This loss isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Reduced movement sets off a cascade of problems. Weakened muscles mean a higher risk of falls, broken bones, and hospital stays that many seniors never fully recover from. Your independence, the ability to climb stairs, carry groceries, or even rise from a chair without help, slowly slips through your fingers. And the cruelest part? By the time you truly feel how much strength you've lost, rebuilding it becomes an uphill battle that few can win. Intimacy is far more than emotional closeness. It's a secret weapon that helps maintain the very physical resilience you need to live fully and independently. Giving it up is like surrendering to gravity and aging without a fight. But physical decline is only part of the hidden cost. What if I told you that the very engine of your mind, your memory, your sharpness, your ability to think clearly, could start to falter too? Let's uncover that next. 4. Your memory and cognitive sharpness could fade. I once spoke with a woman in her 70s who told me something that broke my heart. She said, "I used to be sharp as a tack, but now, sometimes I walk into a room and forget why I'm there." She blamed it on normal aging, just like so many others do. But when we looked closer, there was a deeper hidden cause. Years of emotional and physical disconnection had slowly starved her brain of the stimulation it desperately needed to thrive. You see, intimacy isn't just food for the heart, it's fuel for the brain. During acts of physical and emotional closeness, your body releases chemicals that enhance blood flow to the brain, ignite neural activity, and strengthen memory pathways. When that stimulation is lost, the brain starts to weaken. Thinking becomes slower, words slip away, names are forgotten, even simple decisions begin to feel overwhelming. And make no mistake, the danger here is profound. Cognitive decline isn't just frustrating, it's frightening. It steals your independence, erodes your confidence, and chips away at your very sense of self. Studies show that isolation and lack of intimacy are major contributors to faster onset of dementia and Alzheimer's. What starts as small lapses can quickly spiral into serious memory loss that robs you of the very essence of who you are. Intimacy, in all its forms, keeps your mind alive, flexible, and resilient. Giving it up isn't just a loss of pleasure, it's a risk to your very ability to think, remember, and connect with the world around you. And as terrifying as cognitive decline can be, it's not the only silent threat waiting in the shadows when intimacy disappears. There's another hidden danger, one that leaves your entire body vulnerable to attack. Let's explore that next. 5. Your immune system may weaken. I remember sitting down with a gentleman named Robert, a proud, vibrant man in his early 70s. Over the course of a few years, I watched him transform from energetic and outgoing to frail and constantly sick. It wasn't because he stopped eating right or exercising, it was something far more subtle. He had given up on intimacy, believing it no longer mattered, but it did more than he ever realized. Sexual intimacy plays a vital but often invisible role in keeping the immune system strong. During moments of closeness, the body releases hormones and stimulates immune responses that build resilience against viruses, infections, and even chronic diseases. When that connection disappears, your body's natural defenses weaken. You might notice it at first as more frequent colds or longer recoveries from simple illnesses. But over time, it becomes something far more dangerous. Greater vulnerability to pneumonia, severe infections, and complications that can turn deadly. The decline of the immune system doesn't happen with a bang. It happens in whispers. Small fevers that linger longer, minor infections that refuse to heal, little signs that your body is losing its ability to fight back. And as a senior, those little problems can spiral into hospital stays, loss of independence, and even life-threatening emergencies before you realize what's happening. Intimacy isn't just a comfort, it's a shield. It protects you from the silent, relentless attacks of aging on your body's ability to defend itself. When you give up that shield, you step out into the world unprotected, vulnerable to dangers that your body once could easily overcome. But weakening your immune system is only part of the silent destruction. What happens when your body's rhythms, your nights of peaceful rest, are stolen too? The answer might shock you. Let's uncover it next. 6. You may sleep less and wake up exhausted. I once cared for a woman named Margaret, a lively spirit well into her 70s who loved gardening and volunteering. But over time, I saw the sparkle in her eyes dim. She would come into my office complaining of restless nights, waking up tired, and feeling like her body simply wouldn't recharge. What many didn't see, and what even she didn't understand at first, was that the absence of intimacy had quietly unraveled the very system that helped her rest and heal each night. Sexual intimacy naturally stimulates the release of relaxation hormones like oxytocin and prolactin. These powerful chemicals help lower stress, calm the nervous system, and usher the body into deep restorative sleep. When intimacy fades from your life, your body is starved of this natural support. As a result, falling asleep becomes harder. Nights grow longer and more restless. Even when sleep comes, it's shallow, broken, and leaves you waking up feeling as exhausted as when you went to bed. The danger here is far greater than simply feeling tired. Chronic sleep deprivation accelerates cognitive decline, weakens the immune system, increases the risk of heart disease, and heightens emotional instability. It's not just about missing a good night's rest. It's about dismantling your body's ability to recover, heal, and stay resilient. Night after night, the silent damage compounds, eroding your health from within. Intimacy isn't a frivolous luxury. It's deeply tied to the body's ability to restore itself. Losing that connection means surrendering one of the most powerful natural healing forces your body possesses. But if poor sleep steals your energy and resilience, imagine what happens when an even more personal, more private part of your body starts to break down. The very part tied to your deepest sense of identity and vitality. Let's talk about that next. 7. Your future sexual health could deteriorate. I once had a long conversation with a man named William who at 68 still felt young at heart. But by 74, he sat across from me devastated, his voice cracking as he admitted, "I never thought it would happen to me. I can't even respond anymore." It wasn't a sudden event. It was years of slowly withdrawing from intimacy, years of telling himself it didn't matter, that At my age, who cares? But the body keeps the score, and eventually it answered back. When you abandon sexual intimacy, you risk far more than emotional disconnection. You risk losing the very physical ability to engage in intimacy at all. In men, reduced sexual activity leads to weakened blood flow, loss of elasticity in erectile tissue, and a gradual decline in nerve sensitivity. In women, it can result in vaginal dryness, thinning tissues, and painful intercourse. The body's natural systems are built on use, and when neglected, they atrophy, just like muscles left unused for too long. And the tragedy is, once this physical deterioration sets in, regaining function becomes incredibly difficult, sometimes impossible. It's not just about missing out on pleasure, it's about losing a vital part of yourself, a part tied deeply to your confidence, your emotional well-being, and your connection to life itself. Without regular intimacy, your body quietly closes the doors that once allowed you to feel alive, connected, and empowered. Sexual health after 60 is not about chasing youth. It's about preserving the richness of living fully, feeling deeply, and staying vibrant in every way that matters. To surrender it without a fight is to give up more than most people realize until it's far too late. But the choice is still yours to make. And understanding what's truly at stake is the first step toward protecting not just your body, but your spirit, your identity, and the years ahead waiting to be lived. Conclusion 7. Scary consequences of giving up sex after age 60. If you have stayed with me through this journey, you now understand that intimacy in your later years is not just about pleasure, it is about survival, strength, and the very essence of living well. Giving up on sexual connection after 60 is not a harmless choice. It is a decision that can trigger a cascade of devastating consequences. Rising anxiety, weakening heart health, loss of physical strength, fading memory, a crumbling immune system, restless, sleepless nights, and the heartbreaking deterioration of your own sexual health. Each of these changes might seem subtle at first, easy to dismiss as normal aging, but they are not inevitable. They are preventable, and they are profoundly tied to how you choose to stay connected to yourself, your partner, and the life force that intimacy represents. You are not simply growing older. You are shaping your future with the choices you make today. Staying sexually active, however that looks for you, is not just an option. It is a vital pillar of your emotional, physical, and cognitive well-being. And it is never too late to reclaim this part of your life. Even if you feel disconnected now, even if years have passed, your body and mind have an extraordinary ability to respond when given the right attention and care. Intimacy does not have to look the way it did in your youth. It can evolve, deepen, and enrich your life in ways you may never have expected. So I urge you, do not accept the silent decline as your destiny. Fight for your vitality. Fight for your independence. Fight for the parts of yourself that are still alive, still capable of love, of connection, of joy. The choice is yours to make, and the life you save could very well be your own. Stay strong, stay connected, and remember, the greatest victories are often the quiet ones, fought and won within the hidden corners of your heart and your health. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.